Republican Representative Kinzinger, I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but I don't really care. He went off on the lies and conspiracies around the 2020 election in an interview on CNN. This was unexpected, and it was a pleasant surprise.
I'm going to look ahead to January 6th, when the Electoral College results will be before a joint session of Congress. President Trump and Vice President Pence met with some Republicans at the White House this week. A number of Senate Republicans, some House Republicans haven't ruled out contesting at various points the election results. What do you expect to happen?
I expect there'll be a little chaos. This is a scam, though. I mean, to explain to people that somehow Congress can overthrow the certified results of every state, that we can change an election outcome when there was not a single court case that had any legs. I mean, even if you believe that somehow the courts were, inept in this whole process, if somehow you believe that this whole election was stolen, the reality is there is no impetus to overthrow an election even if you want to, and there's no ability to overthrow an election even if you want to. And so all that's being done is certain members of Congress, the president, etc., and like quote-unquote thought leaders on Twitter are getting retweets, they're getting followers, they're raising money on this scam. It is a scam. It is going to disappoint the people that believe this election was stolen, that think this is an opportunity to change it. But instead of being disappointed in the people that led them on this grifting scam, they're going to somehow, try to convince these people that it was, I don't know, what's the new word, the rhinos in Congress or something like that, and not the Constitution that prevents this from happening in the first place. We talk about the Constitution, we have to follow it, and I'm sorry if that doesn't mean that the outcome was what you wanted.
That's amazing. So this is a Republican representative basically waging war, declaring war on the entire right-wing media ecosystem, which is ballsy, because usually the dynamic we're used to seeing is Republicans embrace their right-wing media ecosystem, and Democrats run away from their left-wing media ecosystem. But this is a clear shot across the bow. And he says, listen, people who are raising money off this, it's a scam. It's a scam. It's not going anywhere. People are getting their hopes up. Nothing's going to happen as a result of this. All this, fraudulent election, rigged election, wait until you see what really happens. There's all these weird forums where people are talking about this, saying Sidney Powell is really going to release the Kraken, and there's going to be martial law. They're going to arrest Biden and all the Democrats, and then Trump's going to get his next 4 years, and I'm going to love to see the look on the lib cucks' faces when this happens. Are you guys insane? Have you totally lost your mind and any semblance of touch with reality? Because that is not happening. It's simply not happening. And when you have Republican representatives who usually are in lockstep with their base, and they're like, hey, pump your brakes, dog. This is something different, and this is something new. Now, by the way, Trump is saying, I think Trump is going to probably announce that he's running in 2024 soon. He says there's a big event happening in January. Who knows what that maniac is doing, but we know he cannot let this go. This sting of rejection, he cannot accept. He's pushing forward regardless, even though his approval rating is even dropping more and more now because he's being so stubborn and so ridiculous in the face of loss. As Geraldo Rivera said, he's like an entitled frat boy. But this is interesting to see. And you are going to have a war within the Republican ranks. I'm gonna discuss more of that in a little bit, but he very clearly, this Republican representative, called it a scam. Quote, a scam. People are raising money off this scam. And that's exactly what it is. Even Trump and his inner circle, they were sending out these mass emails talking about, donate to the fund to fight to overturn this fraudulent election. And then when you read the fine print, most of that money was going to pay off their campaign debt. You had to give like thousands in order for any amount of money to go towards the actual lawsuits, of which, by the way, they lost like 50 of them. And they only won like one. So it is a scam. It is a scam. They're fundraising and just paying off the campaign debts as they're pretending like the fundraising still gives them a chance of winning the election. Trump is still pretending like there's a chance of him winning, even though the Electoral College already certified the results. I mean, it's really out of this world, but now you have even Republican representatives are like, enough. This isn't going anywhere. People are getting their hopes up. This is ridiculous. people raising money off this. They're scam artists. He's basically calling out the entire right-wing media ecosystem, Newsmax, One America News Network, like all those people, all the new media far right-wing people. This is a Republican representative saying, stop being idiots. Stop being idiots. Because this is like Russiagate for Republicans. But the difference is, Russiagate really hit a fever pitch when Trump was already president, and nobody was denying that Trump is president. It was just like, oh, some people said he got there because Vladimir Putin put him there. It's ridiculous, but that was the narrative. But Trump was already in office. This is like Russiagate for Republicans, except it's even dumber because they really believe that, like, somehow Trump is going to remain president over the next 4 years, even though we're about to have Biden's inauguration shortly. I mean, it really is disconnected from reality. And the right-wing media ecosystem has now lost Republican politicians. And boy, oh boy, does that say something.